This is Soul Signal, where the soul comes to rest. My name is Patrice. In a moment, a story will begin. You don't need to do anything with it. You don't need to remember it or carry it or learn from it. Only let it move through you, the way water moves through open hands. Tonight's story is for the woman who is no longer who she was, and not yet who she's becoming. The in-between is its own kind of holy ground. Holy ground is the landing. Slow down as you approach it. Let those two words carry weight. Before the garden, the breath. Place both hands on your belly, divine soul. Feel the warmth there. That warmth is yours. It belongs to no season, no version of you that came before, no version that is still becoming. Just yours, right now, in this body, in this dark. Let your shoulders fall. The day asked a great deal of you. It always does. And you gave it what it asked, and now it is finished, and the night has come, the way the night always comes, without asking, without waiting for you to be ready, just arriving, the way grace arrives. We breathe in 3 rounds, slow, no effort, no arriving anywhere, just the breath, moving the way it has always moved, before the questions, before the becoming, before any of it. Round 1. Inhale through your nose for 4 counts, like drawing breath from dark, rich earth. 1, 2, 3, 4. Hold for 7. Let it settle into all the in-between places, all the not yet and not anymore. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Exhale through soft lips for 8. Let both worlds breathe with you. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Round 2. Inhale for 4, gathering yourself from both directions, from all the places you have been today. Hold for 7. Everything going still, the way a garden goes still at the edge of evening. Exhale for 8, releasing the need to know which side you belong to tonight. Round 3. Inhale for 4. The earth remembers you. Hold for 7. Trust the pause. The in-between has always been a real place. Exhale for 8. Let the dark be generous. Now let your breathing return to its own rhythm. No count, no direction, just the body, knowing what it has always known, how to breathe in the dark. Feel the bed beneath you, solid, patient. It has been waiting for you all day the way the earth waits, without urgency, without keeping score. Your jaw can release now. Your throat can soften. Your shoulders. Let them fall the full distance. They have been holding more than they were meant to hold. Your hips, wide and settled into the mattress. Your hands, open. Your feet resting. In the distance, you hear it. Wind moving through tall meadow grass. Soft, unhurried. The particular sound of a world that is neither one thing nor another. Not quite day, not quite dark, but beautiful in the between. If it feels right, let these words move through you like seeds moving through dark soil. Not forced, not rushed, just settling into the place they were made for. Sacred ground, keeper of the in-between, God who holds what is not yet named. Remind me tonight that the space between who I was and who I am becoming is not empty. It is a garden where I have felt rootless. Remind me that roots go down before they spread. Where I have felt neither here nor there. Remind me that the threshold is its own holy place. Where I have apologized for outgrowing. Remind me that growing was the whole point. Tonight, I do not ask to arrive. I only ask to rest in what is real. And so it is, and so it holds. The meadow had always known her name. She had grown up here. Every flower by heart, every stone, every root, every place where the light came through the trees at that particular late afternoon angle that made everything look briefly golden. She knew this place the way you know a house you have lived in for years. Not by looking, but by feel. By the body's quiet geography. Which step creaks? Which corner is always cold? Which window in the morning lets in the first light? She had been loved here. Truly. Completely. Her mother's hands in her hair. The flowers that grew wherever she walked as if the earth itself could not help but bloom in her presence. This was not a small thing. This was not nothing. The meadow had given her everything a world can give. Beauty, belonging, the particular safety of being known in a place before you are old enough to know yourself. She had a whole language for this place. Not words. The language of the body. The way her feet knew the path without her eyes directing them. The way her hands knew which flowers opened in the morning and which waited for afternoon. The way she could close her eyes and feel the exact temperature of the light at any hour and know without thinking it is nearly noon, or the sun is going west, or the day is almost finished. That kind of knowing. The kind that lives below thought. The kind you only discover you have when you are somewhere else and your body is still listening for sounds that are not there. And yet, lately, and she had not said this out loud, had barely let herself think it. The metal felt slightly too small. Not because it had changed. It hadn't. Every flower still bloomed where she expected it. Every path still led where she knew it led. Every stone, every root, every late afternoon angle of light, all exactly as it had always been. She had changed. Quietly, without deciding to. The way a woman changes when she has been paying attention for long enough. Not dramatically, not with announcement, just a gradual loosening of the certainty that this particular life was the full size of her. She had tried for a while to make the metal feel bigger, had walked the paths she hadn't walked in years, had stood at the far edge of it and looked out at the horizon, the way you look at a horizon when you are hoping it will tell you something. It was beautiful. Of course it was beautiful. It had always been beautiful. But beauty that once felt like enough had quietly, without announcement, become beauty that felt like almost enough. And almost is a different thing entirely. Almost leaves a small, cold space that the beauty cannot quite fill. She didn't want to feel that space. She had tried not to feel it. Had filled the days with the metal's work. The tending and the blooming and the being present for all the things the metal needed from her. Had told herself the feeling would pass. That the restlessness was just a season. That she was ungrateful. That she should be more grateful. And then one morning, she had stood in the center of the meadow, with flowers blooming at her feet the way they always did, and she had felt, unmistakably, undeniably, the particular grief of a woman who has outgrown something she still loves. Not relief. Grief. Real grief. The kind that catches you off guard because you didn't know you were allowed to grieve something that was never broken. You know this feeling, don't you, beloved? Not ingratitude. That word is too small and too unkind for what this is. This is something more honest than ingratitude. This is a woman looking at a life she built with care. A life that is real. A life that has given her real things. And noticing, quietly, persistently, that it no longer holds the full shape of her. Not because it failed, because she grew. And growing past something you love is one of the loneliest feelings there is, because there is no one to blame and nothing to fix, and the grief is real even though nothing broke. You may have spent time trying to talk yourself out of this feeling, reminding yourself of everything you have, counting the real things, the people who love you, the the life that is genuinely good, and feeling somehow worse because the accounting is accurate and the feeling remains anyway. That is not ingratitude. That is a woman whose soul has grown past the container she built for it. And the soul is not wrong for outgrowing. That is what souls do. That is the only thing they do, if you let them. Persephone stood at the edge of the meadow that afternoon. The afternoon everything changed, though she did not know it was that afternoon yet, and felt the particular ache of a woman standing at the edge of her own life, wondering what is on the other side of it. She had been standing at this edge before, many times, had always stepped back, had always returned to the center of the meadow where the blooming was reliable and the ground was known. But today something was different. Today the stepping back felt less like wisdom and more like a very old habit that no longer served her. Today she stood at the edge, and instead of stepping back, she waited. She let herself feel the pull, the one she had been redirecting for years, the one that came from somewhere below the thought level, below the level where reasons live, from whatever part of a woman knows before she knows. She let it come. She did not name it. She did not argue with it. She simply stood at the edge of her own life and let the knowing be as large as it actually was. The earth opened, not violently, not in darkness, not the way the stories tell it, with thunder and horses and terror. Just a parting, the way a curtain parts, the way water parts around a stone, gently, as if it had been waiting for her to be ready. She looked down, and what she saw was not darkness. It was a garden, and at the garden's entrance, resting on a stone as if it had always been there, was a moth. Not like any moth she had seen above. Its body was pale as moonlight. The luminous, almost transparent pale of something that had learned to carry light without needing to produce it. But its wings carried the deep red gold of pomegranate, not painted, grown that way, as if the moth had emerged from inside the fruit itself and carried its pattern the way a woman carries the mark of every world she has lived in. It did not startle at her arrival. It opened its wings once, slowly, the way breath opens, and then was still, watching. She understood, without knowing how she understood, that it had been here before she arrived, that it would be here after she left, that it belonged to the garden between the way she was only beginning to belong, by simply being willing to enter. The garden between worlds was the most beautiful place she had ever seen. Not the bright beauty of the meadow above, that open, generous, sun-soaked beauty that asked nothing of you, that gave itself freely to anyone who looked. This was a different kind of beautiful, quieter, deeper, the kind of beauty that requires your eyes to adjust, that does not announce itself, that reveals itself slowly, the way a woman reveals herself slowly, only to those who are willing to stay still long enough to actually see. She stood at the entrance and let her eyes adjust. The first thing she noticed was the air, different from the meadow air, cooler, denser, carrying something the upper air did not. The particular fragrance of dark soil and old roots and something sweet underneath, something she couldn't name yet, that she would later understand was the smell of pomegranate moving through stone. She breathed it in, slowly. The way you breathe in something you are not sure you are allowed to want, and want anyway. The soil here was dark, rich and dark and fragrant with everything that had ever fallen and been received and transformed into something new. The soil that knows what the surface never does, that endings are not endings, that what goes down becomes the ground for what rises. She crouched down and pressed her palm flat against it, the way she had always pressed her palm against the warm stone of the meadow. The soil was warm, not from sun, from something deeper, from the particular warmth of a place that has been receiving things for a very long time and has learned how to hold them. She stayed crouched there longer than she meant to, feeling the warmth move into her palm, feeling something in her chest that she had not felt in the meadow for a long time. Recognition, not of the place, of herself in the place. The version of herself that had been waiting underground the same way seeds wait, not lost, not failing, just not yet the season for them. You know this version of yourself, beloved, the one that doesn't quite fit the bright, tended, beloved version the world above has learned to love. The one that wants depth, not just beauty, complexity, not just bloom. The one that has sometimes, in the middle of a perfectly good day, felt a pull towards something she could not explain to anyone. Not away from the people she loves, not away from the life that is genuinely good, just towards something more, something underneath, something that has been growing quietly in the part of her she hasn't yet had language for. That version is not a problem. That version is not something to be managed or apologized for or talked out of at midnight when it arrives, insistent and clear in the quiet that the day leaves behind. That version is the one the garden has been waiting for. Pomegranate trees grew here, their fruit hanging heavy and dark, lit from within by something that was not quite light and not quite fire, but something older than both. Something that had been burning quietly since before the world had a name for it. She walked among them slowly, let her hand trail along the bark of one, rough and warm and slightly damp, the way old trees are damp, with the moisture of deep roots and long life and everything they have survived. This tree had been here before she was born, would be here long after. It did not need her to admire it to keep bearing fruit. It did not need her presence to keep its fire burning. It simply was, doing exactly what it had always done, being exactly what it had always been. She found that steadying, the indifference of an ancient tree, the way it offered its fruit without requiring her to deserve it first. And the water, still, perfectly still. In a pool at the garden's center, the water held both worlds in its surface, the sky above, the stone below, equally, without choosing between them. She stood at the pool's edge and looked down at herself. The woman looking back was the same woman who had stood in the meadow that afternoon. The same face, the same hands, but something different in the eyes. Something that had relaxed. Some held thing that had been held for so long, she had stopped knowing it was held, and was now, in the reflection of this still water, beginning to release. Persephone stood at the garden's edge and felt something she had not felt in the meadow above. Recognized, not by a person, by a place. The garden knew her. Not the version of her that bloomed in the meadow, the bright, beloved, petal-scattering version that the world above had learned to love, but the other version, the one that had been living quietly underneath, in the part of herself she had never been given language for, the one that wanted depth, not just beauty, complexity, not just bloom, the one who had sometimes, in the meadow, looked at the edge of the known world and felt something pull. That version. The garden knew her. She walked deeper in, not compelled, not dragged, not stolen from the light. Curious, the way a woman walks towards something when her whole body is saying, "This is where you have always been going." The pomegranate tree she stopped at was the oldest in the garden, its trunk wide as a woman's embrace, its roots going down further than she could see, its fruit so heavy on the branches that the branches had learned to bow, not in defeat, in offering. The fruit in her hand was warm, not from sun, from something interior, from its own particular fire, the one it had been tending quietly all this time. She turned it in her hands, felt the weight of it, not heavy the way a burden is heavy, heavy the way a truth is heavy, with its own substance, its own reality, its own refusal to be smaller than it actually is. She had been told once, in a way that was meant as warning, not to eat here, not to take anything from this place, or it would bind her. She turned the pomegranate in her hands, felt the weight of it, the warmth of it, the particular red of its skin, not the red of danger, the red of something alive, something that had been growing in the dark for exactly as long as it needed to. And she thought, what if belonging to two worlds is not a punishment? Stay with that, beloved. What if the life that does not fit one world completely is not a failed life? What if a woman who belongs fully to neither, not to the life she came from, and not yet to the life she is moving toward, is not lost? What if she is simply the kind of woman who was always meant to know both, the depth and the light, the root and the bloom, the quiet dark places and the wide open ones, not split between them, held by both? What if the pomegranate was never a trap? What if it was an invitation, the first honest one she had ever been offered, to stop pretending that one world was enough? She ate 6 seeds, one for each month she would return, one for each month she would ascend, not because she didn't know what it meant, because she did. This was the first completely honest thing she had ever done for herself. Not the blooming in the meadow, though that was real. Not the flowers that followed her everywhere, though she had loved them. This small, deliberate, irreversible act of choosing something that was hers, even when it was complicated, even when it would cost her the simplicity of belonging only to one place. She stood in the garden between worlds and felt the seeds settle into her body, like a decision finally made, like a truth finally spoken, like a woman finally, after a very long time, choosing herself. Above her, on the branch of the pomegranate tree, the moth landed, silent, still, its wings opening and closing slowly the way breath moves, not judging the choice. It was already carrying the same colors. It already knew. It had always known. This was what it had been waiting at the garden's entrance to witness. A woman choosing both worlds with full knowledge of what it meant. Not taken, not tricked, arrived. She walked to the pool at the garden's center, slowly, without urgency. The way you walk when you have finally stopped trying to arrive somewhere and are simply moving through what is. The garden was quiet around her, not the quiet of absence, the quiet of fullness. When everything that needs to be present is present, and nothing is straining towards somewhere else. The pomegranate trees stood in their rows, their fruit still lit from within, their branches still bowing in that particular gesture of offering without demand. She passed each one, let her hand trail along the bark of the oldest ones, felt the warmth there, the same warmth she had felt when she first entered, but familiar now. Known. The way the meadowstone had been known. A different warmth, from a different depth, but warmth all the same. She was beginning to understand that warmth is not owned by one world, that safety does not live only in the places you came from, that a woman can be held in more than one place without being divided. The water so still it had forgotten how to move. Or perhaps it had simply learned that stillness is its own kind of power. She sat at its edge, let her feet rest in the dark soil, the soil receiving her weight, the way it received everything, without condition, without requiring her to explain herself before it let her rest. Let her hands rest in her lap. Let the warmth of the 6 seeds move through her quietly, the way truth moves when you finally stop arguing with it. Not loudly, not dramatically, just settling, finding its level, becoming part of you. She had expected to feel divided. That was the warning after all, that eating here would split her, half above, half below, belonging fully to neither. But sitting at the edge of the still water with the seeds quiet inside her, she did not feel split. She felt expanded, as if the container she had been living in had been slightly too small for what she actually was, and the garden had simply made more room. Not by taking anything away, by showing her how much of herself had been waiting underground, tended and warm and ready, while she was above in the bright world, trying to fit into the shape everyone expected her to hold. She looked at the water. The surface held both worlds. Above, the distant memory of sky, light somewhere, the meadow she had come from, the mother who loved her, the flowers, all of it real, all of it still hers. Below, the stone of the deep places, the garden, the dark soil that receives everything without judgment, the pomegranate trees lit from within. This world, also real, also hers. The water did not ask her to choose which reflection was true. It held both equally, with the same stillness, the same patience, the same absolute refusal to declare one world more real than the other. She looked at herself in the water, a woman between, and she did not look away. Look at yourself tonight, beloved. Not the version you are performing for the world above. Not the version that has it together, that knows where she is going, that has a clear answer when people ask how she is. The woman in the between, the one who has outgrown something real and has not yet arrived somewhere new. The one who carries both worlds in her body and is tired of apologizing for it. Look at her. She is not broken. She is not failing. She is not behind. She is a woman who is large enough to belong to two worlds. And that is not a curse. That is a capacity. That is the shape of a woman who has lived deeply enough to know that life is not simple and has refused to pretend otherwise. The water did not ask her to choose. It held both reflections, sky and stone, light and depth, without needing them to resolve into a single image. The water understood what she was only beginning to understand, that some things are not meant to be resolved. They are meant to be inhabited, lived in, moved through, carried the way the moth carries its two colors, not as a contradiction, as a nature. She would return above. She knew that. The meadow was still hers. The flowers would still bloom when she walked among them. Her mother's arms were still home. And she would return here. She knew that too. The garden between worlds had her name in its soil now. The dark water held her reflection. The pomegranate tree would recognize her every time she came back. She would move between them, not with grief, but with the particular grace of a woman who has stopped pretending she is only one thing. Both were real. Both were hers. She was the queen of both, not half of each, all of both. Let me bring you somewhere simple now. Not the garden, not the meadow. Just this. The dark behind your eyes. The weight of your body. The bed that has been holding you the whole time the story moved. The between is here too, divine soul. in this room, in this particular dark, in the space between the day that ended and the morning that has not yet come. You are already living in the between. You have been all along. The life you came from is real. The life you are moving toward is real. And this, right here, right now, in the dark, in the between, this is also real. This is also yours. Feel the weight of your own body. The shoulders released, the hips heavy and wide and settled, the hands open, holding nothing, needing to hold nothing, the jaw soft, the breath long. You do not have to choose tonight. You do not have to know which world you belong to. You do not have to arrive before you are allowed to rest. The between is holy ground. You are standing on it right now. You have been standing on it for a while, and it is holding you the way all holy ground holds, without requiring you to understand it before it lets you rest. Somewhere in the garden between worlds, the water is still. The pomegranate trees are holding their fruit lit from within. The dark soil is receiving everything that falls to it and turning it into ground. And Persephone, queen of both worlds, woman of the between, is resting at the edge of the still water, her feet in the dark soil, her face turned toward whatever light finds its way down. She is not waiting to be rescued. She is not waiting to choose. She is resting in what is true. Beside her at the water's edge, so still it might be a stone, so present it cannot be ignored, the pomegranate moth rests, its wings folded now, the red gold markings catching the glow from the fruit above. Its reflection in the still water holds both colors, the pale luminous body and the deep red of the markings, the same way the water holds both worlds, without choosing, without resolving, just holding. This is what the moth came to show her, that a creature can carry two worlds in its wings and still be one thing, complete, whole, belonging entirely to itself. And tonight, divine soul, so are you. The in-between is holy ground. I belong to both worlds. I do not have to arrive to be held. What I am becoming is already real. The in-between is holy ground. the story becomes soil now, becomes the still water, becomes the low, warm light inside the pomegranate, burning quietly, the way all true things burn, without needing to be seen to keep going. Persephone remains in the garden, keeping watch over the between, keeping watch over you. May you rest in the in-between tonight without apology. May the dark soil hold you the way it holds everything, completely, without judgment, without asking what you will become before it lets you rest. You do not have to choose tonight. Both worlds are yours. Both have always been yours. Sleep now, divine soul. You are held by the ground between, held, home. Rest here as long as you need. The story has done its work. You don't have to hold it. You can let it go the way you let a breath go, completely, without watching where it goes. Soul Signal will be here when you return. There are more stories waiting, more nights like this one. Until then, may you dream in light. May you wake in grace. And may you always know you are the signal.